Hi y'all, Stephanie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing the budget video that I talked about in my last video but didn't actually end up making. And it's probably going to be a little bit rambly, but I do have 3 points that will hopefully keep me a little bit on track here. And so the number one thing that I want to communicate and chat about with you guys is that budgeting is not a bad word. And it is not for people in poverty, and it is not like just for people in poverty. It's not just for people that are getting out of debt. Budgeting is simply being a good steward of what you've already been given. And I think stewardship as Christians is a way to be grateful to God for what He's given us, what He's allowed us to obtain through working, what He's allowed us to make with the work of our hands, that is to ultimately, again, glorify Him and to be used for His purposes and is not ours. So I think if we can look at budgeting from a perspective that is not negative, that is not, this is a consequence to the fact that I went in debt, or this is a consequence to my lifestyle choices of this specific career that maybe doesn't make 6 figures. Rather, just like budgeting is like brushing your teeth. It's just something we do to take care of ourselves. Like we do that to take care of our body, to take care of our teeth. We budget to take care of our 4 walls, to take care of whoever God has entrusted us with, to take care of whatever responsibilities He's given us, whatever He's laid on our hearts to give to and to make a difference in. We budget. And alongside that, I think with budgeting, what I wish was talked about more is what it really means to live beneath your means. So I love the Dave Ramsey whole platform. I'm a huge fan. I know everybody isn't anymore, but I still am. But I wish it was talked about more, that living beneath your means is not simply something you do to get out of debt. But even when you have no debt, you're going to be living beneath your means so that you can be preparing yourself to not need to go into debt in the future. So you're going to be having sinking funds. I know that's a Dave Ramsey term for basically looking at how much money you would need to replace a car, or what your deductible is on your health insurance, or what braces are going to cost for your kid, or what your property taxes are, whatever it is. And then you're saving that monthly so that when that expense comes up, you're prepared. I love, love, love sinking funds. I mean, I do them for kids' sports. We do them for clothes. I do them for our homeschool curriculum. I love sinking funds as a way of looking at our monthly budget and saying, where does this all need to go? And then what are we really left with to spend on groceries, to spend on our fun money, or on a date night, or to throw towards our travel account? Like, what do we really have once we've taken out all of these known things that are going to come up? That's how you live within your means. Living within your means is not making $6,000 and having expenses that go up to $5,800, and then only having $200 left to prepare for anything else that comes in the future. I think an overarching thing when I talk to people about budgeting, and I've helped people make budgets, is you really have a lot less discretionary spending. I think if you're being wise, then you think you do. You may feel like it's gone so well so far that you've only had, that you've been able to spend all of this and still make it. But I think if we're really preparing for the future, not becoming crazy like prepper people that have money in the pillowcases and, in the backyard, but just wise stewardship of knowing it's going to rain, so we're going to have an umbrella, then we probably really need to lessen the amount we spend and up the amount that we save. Not just an emergency fund for if you lose a job, but also for the known things that we know come up. Maybe it's your renter's insurance, maybe it's a pool membership in the summer. I've been saving for that since like December, because I want to have one this year. But those things, and again, doing that not from a perspective of we don't have enough, but a perspective of, look, this is what we have, and this will be enough if I really steward it well, and if I figure out what we need to put certain amounts, and then what we simply can't afford. And that not being able to afford something not being such a negative thing. Like, of course we all can't afford everything. Like, there's such a spirit of entitlement that acts like we should all be able to have these kinds of birthday parties for our kids, and this type of health insurance, and this type of house, and a car that's this certain amount of new, and how dare we ever have to have car repairs? Like, we've got to get rid of that entitlement and be willing to live seriously within our means and with joy and with integrity to steward whatever is within our means really well. I love the new kind of fad in social media of budgeting loudly, where we're just talking about what's in the budget and what's not. And that if I say something isn't in the budget, that doesn't mean that my husband and I don't make enough money in our jobs. That simply means that that money has already been allocated somewhere else. And so it's not in the budget for us to do X, Y, and Z because we've chosen to do this or to prepare for this with that money. And that's not a bad thing. That's value-based budgeting. And I think that is the way to go. I think if you're married and your spouse can get on board together with what your values really are, it makes budgeting so much easier. It's so easy to say no to the gas station drink or the Starbucks or the Netflix subscription or the upgrade in house if you have a joint idea of what is like our family's core values. What is it we really want our family to be about? What is it we really want our kids to remember about their childhood? What are we implementing? What is our family culture? And then cultivating values from that. And then it makes budgeting when you're saying no to an area just a very clear, like, yeah, but that was never what was really going to be important to us. When we're saying no to travel sports, I saw a funny video where the mom, it was like a reel, and she was like, yeah, we don't have travel ball money, we have rec ball money. And I was like, amen, sister. And that's not a negative thing, because choosing rec ball money is also us deciding that it's really important that we go visit my family every year, and my family doesn't live in the same state as us. So that value-based budgeting and being really willing to live really within your means, not just when you're on your debt-free journey, but afterwards, so that you can stay out of debt. Because if you get out of debt and you don't start saving to replace that car that you just paid off, well, guess what? Eventually you're going to need to, and I don't know about you, but cars cost $15,000 plus $30,000, depending on what you're getting, plus. I can't just pull that out of nowhere. We don't make the kind of money where that's just available within, a month or two. So those things we have to prepare for. So I really encourage you to look at money through the lens of stewardship, of gratitude for what God's given you. It's not about not having faith and having all of this like money set aside because that's where you feel like your trust is and that's what you're relying on. It's saying, I am so incredibly grateful for what you've already given me that I don't want to waste it, and I don't want to spend it frivolously and then ask you for more. I want to take what you've given me and put it to good work, that it would glorify you, God, and that I would remain grateful that it's still ultimately your hand that ever provided it to begin with. It's not me thinking that I earned this, I deserve this, I did good by this, so ... but remaining completely grateful in stewardship and always knowing that ultimately it's God's money. And also knowing that, as Christians, our contentment has to lie in our salvation, right? Like when we're truly have the joy of our salvation, where we're like, anything earthside is just earthside. Eternally, God, you have given more than I could ever ask or think in what your son did on my behalf on the cross. That this is all very momentary and this is all yours, and everything here is meant to ultimately build your kingdom there, God. And so I'm going to live with it open-handed. I'm going to be a good steward of it to the degree that I can. I'm going to ask for wisdom in decision-making and in buying and in selling and in doing, but rooted in a content spirit, stewardship becomes so much easier. And it's easier, again, like I said earlier, to say that's not in the budget and it not be a shame thing. That's not in the budget does not mean my husband doesn't make enough money. That's not in the budget just means that's not where our values lie. That's not with what we've been given. It's not a negative thing. So I hope that encourages you to work on your sinking funds, to have no fear in living within your means and doing it loudly, and be content with what you have. And I'll talk to you next time.